How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore, and here we have a 2023 Ford F350. And what I'd like to show you today is how to get the edge of this cab here covered with paint protection film. Probably not something you're going to do very often, but there are some difficult parts, and it's not so much that it's difficult, it's just you need to know where to stretch. And especially on this bottom part here, and you've got this recess here and things. So let's just go over that, because this will be, good information for anything that you're working on when you're going to have all these different angles like this. So we're going to start up here on this top part. And this customer is just doing everything from here down. So we did the bed and then everything around, including, we did do the full hood and things like that though. But as far as this back part goes, we're just doing the doors up to the bottom of the windows. And then, so we're going to keep this line kind of uniform to that. Let's go ahead and get a piece on here. So one thing I like to make sure is that this area back in here, the edge on the material is nice and straight, because we don't want to have to, it's going to be impossible to trim back there. And you also don't want to go too far back in there, because you're not going to be able to reach it with the squeegee, unless you want to take the bed of the truck off. Okay. So down here, to get rid of some of this excess, all I'm going to do is pull from side to side. It doesn't even take that much tension to get that to stretch a little. Then we're going to go ahead and tuck all this in. And I did get a little too far over there, but it's going to be fine. You just want to put a little stretch on it until this pretty much lays flat right there. Okay. Now let's start working our way up. Get rid of the pre-tacking. Okay. So we can pretty much lay this in here pretty flat all the way up to about here. So let's go ahead and squeegee out up to this area. So basically I'm just putting my hand in there, and then I can push this part and contour to the shape of the body or the cab there, and that helps get that very edge pushed out. Okay, so now that we're up here, let's go ahead and put a little stretch on this going up, and we'll get this part to stretch and get rid of these fingers. And so something with this that you can do if you're real slippery or your material doesn't have a lot of tack to it is put some tack solution in there, and we're just going to stretch until we get rid of these fingers, and we're going to stay below this top part where we put the tack solution, which I didn't do very well there. Let me try that again. All right, let's try that again. So go ahead and make sure those fingers all go away. Get up to this top part, and then we'll tack that down. Make sure that none of this is pre-tacking here. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and squeegee this out. I'm gonna take this stuff just over to this side and bring it over this way. And this part was popping up, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a swipe and hold there and get that down. The less time that this spends popping over this edge, the less possibility that you're gonna have a, stretch mark in this area. All right. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see it in there, but I did get some fingers. This is hanging over too far back there. Let's get that kind of dried out with the towel here. That's pushing down really well. It's just hard to get the pressure on it to push it down. So if you just take your towel and run over it, you can get those edges nice and dried out so it doesn't continue to pop up. All right, so let's go ahead now and make sure, let's see, what can you see? So down to here. Okay, and then up to, perfect. So now we want to make sure that everything up to this edge is down. All right, next step here, I'm going to get a little bit of slip solution in there because we don't want it tacking around this edge just yet until we're done trimming it. Okay, now we can go ahead and add some tack to that. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this in, and then we'll take care of trimming that bottom. Great. All right, let's go ahead and trim this bottom off now. So if you're working on a black vehicle, I'd probably let this sit for a bit longer, because when we tear this material along the line that we put in it for trimming, there's a possibility it's going to pull up a little bit because there's still some tack solution and a slip solution in there. Okay, then we'll get a little tack in there. Make sure that this is stuck down. Let's prep this bottom area for a piece of paint protection film. I mean, it's already been basically prepped. We're just wiping it down now. So it feels like this part's probably, it probably pops right off. Then you could tuck that down even further actually in there, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. That'd probably really help hide that edge. But I don't like, let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, there's a pin on a clip on the bottom, and then the rest of this probably pops off. That might be a, you know, a good idea, but we're not worried about that on this one. All right, and then I don't like doing this type of parts off of the vehicle because I need to be able to stretch and pull things, and you know, they're just always sliding around. All right, let me grab a piece of bulk material for this and we'll go ahead and put this part on. All right, so something you can do to kind of trim an edge nice and straight is to let it hang over on a piece of glass like this. And actually, it's also a good idea to put some slip solution behind there so that it stays down better. You can get the top going and then hold there and put some tension on it. Yeah, it's not going to do that good. Okay. We'd really need some slip solution to hold it in place back there. All right, we're gonna go up over this edge just a little bit here. And again, we're gonna try not to get too far over there on that way. And then we're gonna put a little stretch on this to make sure that this top edge lays down nice and flat. Okay, so now you can see that we've got some fingers here now, and let's go ahead and get some of those stretched out. So if we kind of split them between left and right, what we're able to do is kind of pull down to this area here, and we want to get rid of almost all of them. And then we're going to go ahead and squeegee down to our hand. I've got a little dot right there, so let's fix that first. Where did it go? Right there. So I basically just picked that with my fingernail so I can break it loose from the adhesive, and then go ahead and hit it with some soapy water. Okay. So if the material is dry and your hand is dry on the outside, it's gonna help it be you can stick your hand on it better and it won't slip on the material. All right, so at this point we're only trying to get down past this about an inch or so. Okay. Oops, that's tack. We don't want that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is stretch some more. Well then. Okay, the other side went way better than this. I'm not sure. Turn the camera on and then start having issues. Alright. The other thing you can do is wear rubber gloves, and that'll help so that you're not slipping off the material. Alright, so I'm kind of just stretching right down here into the center. So if you're going to have fingers over here, but we're not going to have any in the middle. Okay. Now that we're right here, I am going to put, the way to get rid of these fingers is going to be to pull from side to side. And we're going to trap that in there. We're going to go ahead and squeegee that out. And actually, you know what? Let's not use, I'm not going to use tack. If your material is real slippery, you'll probably need some tack in there. But for me, that's actually working against me. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up, over, and down. Whatever helps it get out of there. Okay. I'm going to tack around back here on this side a little bit, and that's basically just going to help keep the material in this area down. If it'll stay down. If not, no big deal. We're only worried about this front area. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this side. And what I found with this truck is that you can reach under and back behind the bed, and you can kind of get your finger on it a little bit. And we're just putting a tiny bit of stretch on it that way, and we're going to squeegee this out. Just enough to get us over this body line here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this down because we don't want to leave a mark in the material there. Okay, and let's work our way the rest of the way down here. So I'm going to put a little bit of tack on the bottom part, and then we're going to go ahead and stretch all of this. And how I'm going to do that is I am going to come down with it really pretty hard, and I'm going to go from side to side as well a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put my hand over here, and then I'm going to reach over onto this side. And try to hold this down with my fingers, and then we can squeegee this out. The bed is it's got some sharp spots on it. Now this is, you know, fairly difficult area. Okay, so for what we're doing here, just getting anywhere below this line here is going to be enough. All right, so same as we did up there, we're going to go ahead and get some slip solution behind this. We're going to trim this off. I'm getting a little big there, so I'm going to go ahead and come up this direction and cut some of that off. Okay, then we'll finish working our way down. If your line happens to get a little wavy right here, you can also come back and get that, you know, trim that again after it's wrapped down. Okay, let's try to get this part down first. We'll kind of work our way up right here. Make sure that you've got everything on the face out here. Squeeze it out. Okay, then we're just gonna double check the face and then work our way up. Now you've got some extra material right here, so I'm gonna put that down first. Split that between the top, above and below that. And then we'll go ahead, get the rest of that down, and then we'll dry it out. Alright, we'll go ahead and trim across this top now. We need to get this a little bit smoother on there, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit. I'm not pulling it really up off the panel. I just want to get this laid down just a little bit better there. If you could see that changed that a little bit. That is going to make it just easier to trim when we're coming across, so we can stay closer to that edge. All right, let's go ahead and trim this top off. Alright, it seems like I might not have gotten quite enough pressure on that. Let's see. Oops, I'm peeling off the top part. We don't want to do that. Alright, let me retrim this end here. There we go. All right, let's see if I got this stuff enough. Yep, got enough to tear it. It was just having a hard time getting started. Okay, let's bump that edge down. And actually we're just pushing it down at this point, and then we are going to bump it with a towel here, get it dried out. Okay, let's see what we can do about this bottom part now. Alright, before I trim something like this down here, I like to put some heat on it to kind of see where everything's going to pop up to. Because what we're going to do is get this down, and then we're going to trim just above all the fingers down here. And this also will kind of seal the part that's actually stuck down. It'll seal it down. So now what I want to do is go ahead and cool that material back down. It's a little bit more difficult to trim the material when it's hot. All right, let's see if we can get you another angle so we can work together. Okay. Alright, so wow, that went way back there. Let's go ahead and get some more blade out. I wouldn't let it go back this far. Would be better. Okay, oh, trim, it came off the line. Okay, it's right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get all the moisture out of this edge. Alright, so it's possible on a real sharp outward bend like this to get extra material. And so one thing, there's quite a few things you could do with this actually. One would be to just trim it out. You can also push it down, kind of lay it over on itself, and then put some heat on it and push it down, and it'll just stay, but it's always going to basically look like that. Another technique to okay, so let's just tell you about another one, would be to just go right here and put a slit in it, and then you push one piece up and then you lay the other one down over the top of it. That's another way to take care of it. And then here's the way that I'm going to take care of it today. I'm going to push it down, and then I'm going to come back with my blade, and I'm just going to kind of saw off the part that's sticking up. And sometimes it's best to come from the back like that. And so that way, I mean, you do have the void in there, which is potentially a downside depending on where it is on the vehicle, how visible it is. But for this angle, or for where it's tucked in here, you know, because that can catch dirt, that's why that could be an issue. But this situation, we're not going to have a problem with that, and that allows the two pieces to come down together but not be over the top of each other. You can see I got a little wavy right here, so let's go ahead and straighten that out a bit. Can you see what I'm doing? No. Okay, so right here, it's a little bit wavy. We're gonna go ahead and correct that issue. All right, I'm gonna put my fingernail on right on that line and then try to get it to tear. Okay. And you can use your blade or tweezers to kind of get this part up. Then you can put your finger on there and pull that up. Tweezers can work really good too for that. I'm just trying to go over it right here, and because where I pushed back like that, it's gonna tend to leave some adhesive, and we definitely want to try and get rid of that. I mean, that is just going to catch dirt, right? Okay. All right, so that's the process of stretching in these little areas. I hope that was actually helpful. Kind of felt like I was fumbling around a little bit down here. I didn't have that issue on the other side, but I don't know. Hopefully, you know, those just learning how to stretch in those areas is useful. Terrific. Well, if you found something helpful, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.